Hi, my name is Jennifer Dominguez, and this is my lesson showing how I use the Assure model for my copyright lesson. So the first part of the Assure lesson model is Analyze Learners. So for this, I made sure to consider the characteristics of the learners that I would be teaching, went over the competencies, what they're going to be expected to know, and then looked at any learning differences or needs of students. So this lesson is for third grade students that are being introduced to the term copyright for the first time in the library setting. Students are digital natives in this classroom, and they're proficient in using most digital tools and applications. Most of the students are reading at grade level, and some students in the classroom have been identified with dyslexia, so that will be used as a reference point when students are trying to use online tools, utilizing the Chromebooks for that text-to-speech. And the student behavior is minimal. Students will be able to communicate the purpose of copyright law and identify appropriate and inappropriate uses of digital content. The next part is state standards and objectives. So I took the technology application TEK 3.9b, and it stated that the student is expected to communicate the purpose of copyright law and identify appropriate and inappropriate uses of digital content and information. And then I looked at the ISTE standards, and I knew this presentation wasn't about digital citizenship specifically, but I did want to tie in how students are going to be able to recognize how they are responsible for contributing to that digital community when they are learning the rules of copyright. And then also 1.3, knowledge constructor. Students critically curate a variety of resources using digital tools to construct knowledge, produce creative artifacts, and make meaningful learning experiences for themselves and others. Moving on to selecting strategies and resources. So in this lesson, it will be a whole class lecture. That's going to be the best for introducing a new concept to students. And this will also give students the opportunity to ask questions and share their input with their classmates. And since this is an introduction lesson on what copyright is, students will be utilizing Google Classroom to complete the Google Form exit ticket. The next one is utilize resources. So as the librarian, I created a Google slide presentation for the lesson. Then I will be using in the library to prepare it a computer in the library with a projector so that I would be able to do the lesson whole class. And then students will need their own Chromebooks so that they can sign into their Google Classroom and at the end of the lesson complete the Google form. And so I did take into account the 5P process that is mentioned in our textbook. Moving on to the require learner participation. So this whole group lesson, I will use Google Slides to present what copyright is using a lecture style teaching approach. Students will participate during the discussion part of the lesson and have time to ask questions. And then their independent activities, students will apply what they learn when they complete the exit ticket at the end of the lesson. The evaluate and revise. So once the students complete the Google form, then I'll be able to look at that and use this rubric to help evaluate the student's understanding of copyright. And I'll be able to see if a reteach is needed for this lesson or possibly an extension that's needed to maybe strengthen students' understanding on copyright. And so I have pasted the rubric that I would use for the lesson. And then here are my references. I mostly used our textbook to help form using the Assure model. Thank you.